So before we get into the review, I got to ask everybody to like, subscribe, the whole YouTube spiel. It obviously means a lot to me and I appreciate it. So plug done. Getting started with the review. So today we're going to be talking about Dragon Age Inquisition. It's a game that came out quite a while ago. Came out for Windows, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, and Xbox One. Came out in November 2014. Actually, on our side of the pond, that would be November 18th, 2014. It is a third-person action-adventure game, kind of an RPG. It's very much like in BioWare's vein, so very much like the old Dragon Ages and even Mass Effect in a way. Very narrative-focused. So far in this playthrough, I'm at about 40 hours, but I've played through a couple of characters, so maybe collectively 100, 120 hours, but this playthrough, I've definitely gotten the farthest in-game, as well as just with the story progression. Well, maybe not. I'm not entirely sure. So I bought it back closer when it came out, and I enjoyed it, but it is a long story. I mean, there's a halfway point where you basically, well, I should say, going forward, spoilers. So, viewer discretion is advised. There's a halfway point where your first base is destroyed, and I thought, oh, well, we're reaching the end. No, you're like starting the game. And I was already almost 20 hours in because I'm one of the people that likes to explore and make and all that kind of stuff. So like I said, it's an RPG kind of game. It's action-y a bit, but it's definitely focused on the RPG. You get to make your own character. You can choose between human, elf, Quinari, which is like the people with the horns. I believe this is the first game you can play in the series as one of them, but newsflash, everybody's racist in this game, and I play as one of them, and everyone hates on me right away before I start being charismatic as hell. I say human, elf, Quinari, and dwarf. The game itself is very much like other Dragon Age Inquisition. So you choose between pretty much warrior, rogue, or mage, and you build from there into a specific specialization. Now, I like the specializations more in this game than I have in others, just because I think that they're a little more diverse and they're more fun for me personally. I chose a mage for this playthrough. I'm a Quinari mage. And I went with I can't remember the name of it now, but it's basically like a Crusader build where you have a little bit of melee magic as well as defensive magic, and then your normal, blow shit up. I'm a glass cannon magic. Lot of fun. I mean, I've downed 8 of the 10 dragons with minimal effort. In terms of the plot, I mean, there's a lot of intrigue to go into. Basically, the game is centered around you, and you are the Herald of Andraste, and you came out of something known as the Breach, which is like a massive hole in the sky. Once you get out, it's kind of the tutorial, but once you get out into the world, you're world building from then on out. So you're given the Inquisition, which is this title drop, right? Which is like a force that you have to build and get respect for among the nobles and the mages and the Templars and so on and so forth. And you make various choices, both internally within the Inquisition with your advisors and externally with the powers that be. And that ultimately leads to some sort of ending. Now, the end itself is somewhat cut and dry, and you kind of get railroaded, but each individual character has their own ending or twist or what have you. So, for example, Cassandra, she's one of both the love interest and the playable characters in that she's an NPC that can go out with you. She can become the leader of the Chantry. Basically, think Chick Pope, and your decisions with her ultimately impact the type of, chick pope that she ends up being. So if you turn her into more of a hardened person, she'll be brutal. If you turn her into more of a softer person, she'll be kind. And I know that's a very simple example, but there are so many minute options when it comes to doing these things that change the inevitable outcome that it's almost ridiculous to keep up with. Let's just say that if you're going to be using a guide to kind of find and path your way through the game, you're going to be reading for a really, really long time. Now, that's the general plot. The game, the mechanics themselves, it's pretty much a third-person action. There are some strategy elements to it where you can actually go into an over-the-top view and you can move your character or your NPCs around with you. You get to bring 3 NPCs out with you into the field whom you can play as. But I mean, realistically, if you make a character in a game, I feel like you're going to play it most of the time. I did. But you're kind of thrown into this open world, or several open worlds. There's this hub location and then small to massive worlds that you get to explore that are filled with mini quests, sub bosses, all sorts of world events. My favorite thing to do in the game is to hunt dragons. It's a lot of fun. There are 10 in the game. They range from level, I believe, 14 to 23. And they have really interesting mechanics. There's different types. There's fire, ice, so on and so on. Some fly, some run around. And that's just one example of a lot of fun side quests. Now, that's a whole lot of positive. The plot's awesome, very intriguing. You're going to be engrossed in the game. Just like any of these BioWare titles, you're very much, I want to say any with an asterisk because there's some Mass Effect problems. But for the most part, you're really going to be engrossed in the plot. The gameplay is fun. I mean, you're going to want to be into the RPG, building your character and fighting against people in the wild. That's got to be your shtick because that's the whole of the gameplay loop. But it's done well. Now, my gripes with the game is, my God, does it have technical issues and visual bugs. My character, the Quinari's arms weren't attached for the better part of my playthrough. I think for at least 20 hours, anytime he swung his hands, you could see through his shoulder blades. His face is constantly screwed up because of the texturing that they did with the lips. So it looks like the lips are being pulled through the mouth or whatever. You can't see the teeth, but there's like a black, almost like a mustache above his mustache. It makes very little sense. Some of the characters move incredibly unnaturally or glitch backwards from time to time. There's a lot of weird facial expressions and lip sync issues. Basically, the modeling is kind of a complete shit show. It's not like off the rails to the point where the game is unplayable. Obviously, it made it out to consoles and it's a joy to play. The game itself is a lot of fun, but you're gonna laugh. I think that's the best way to put it, is you're gonna laugh when you see some of the issues where it's like, you didn't think to attach the lip to the upper lip. I don't understand what happened. And or like spells will fire off and make sounds way delayed, or you'll jump off a ledge and hit the ground and no damage will happen, and then damage will happen and you'll make a sound 3 seconds later. There's just a lot of processing and graphical issues that I think come from when the PS4 first came out. I'm running it on PS4, but when that generation of games first came out, everyone was trying to make the next best thing, the biggest world, and so on and so forth. And I think they just didn't quite make it correctly because it just doesn't translate. That said, I like I've said before, the game it's really good. I mean, you're really going to enjoy it, barring the technical issues, the interconnected storylines and the way that you communicate with your squad mates or the people that are just within your Inquisition is fascinating. I mean, I wish I could break it down more, but honestly, I'd have to do like a shitload of research to get anywhere near a decent explanation for you guys. That said, highly recommend the game. It's cheap. Overall, if I'm being honest and objective, I'd probably give it like 3, let's call them dragon skulls out of 5. It's got way too many technical bugs to be a 4-star game, 5-star game, but the story and the plot definitely make up for it. The gameplay is not where the majority of the bugs are, thankfully, so it doesn't affect too much of what you're doing out in the wilds. And that's what made subquesting itself so enjoyable, is there's so many things to do in the game that I went out into one of the areas and spent 12 hours just side questing, just to get my character up. I mean, at this point, I'm basically a god walking around there at level 20 compared to everyone else's 14 or whatever. But that's how I like to play these kinds of games. I mean, 100%ed Spider-Man, and anything that gives me an open world, I'm going to explore it. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. Again, hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, all that nonsense. 3 out of 5 for Dragon Age Inquisition. Still comes with a recommendation, but again, you're going to be dealing with some graphical issues. Hope you all have a good one, and look out for more videos, more content, and more podcasts. Peace.